Right people, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very exciting unboxing. We have the iPhone 17 in-house to test. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this because, as I've said for many weeks now, the iPhone 17 is one of the best value iPhones Apple's made in a long time. And as early stats already show, this phone is turning out to be a big seller for them, and I'm not exactly surprised. This phone has everything one needs. I don't think the pros are really worth it anymore unless you're an enthusiast or absolutely need the high-end features the pros offer, but most can make do with this 17. And by the way, if there's airplanes, apologies, but yeah, I just want to get on with this unboxing and get into this device. Now, as you can see, I went for the black, and it's because most of you guys are interested in the black, I think. It's undoubtedly the most popular color because it's neutral, and we have 256 gigs of base storage. So yeah, that's pretty great. Double the base storage. Very awesome to see. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the box. Very regular, typical packaging. We have the strips here, so let's peel them right now. Silence, please. Ooh. Ooh. Why am I oohing? I don't know. But anyway, there we go. And opening the box. There it is. The iPhone 17. Now, the black itself is a little lighter. I had the iPhone 15 in black, and that was a proper matte black. This is more of a grey. And actually, the rumors did say we would get a steel grey this year, and this kind of is that color. I can see why rumors thought there was a grey this year, because this very much is a dark grey instead of matte black, but it's quite nice. And by the way, I'm coming from a 14 Pro Max, which by the way is a very heavy device that has stainless steel rails and is a much bigger device, but this feels great. Very nice. Okay, inside the box, we have the usual. We have our braided cable. Very nice. We have a SIM ejector tool because I live in the UK, and so we still have the SIM tray. That's to be expected. And we have the pamphlets. Wow. It's paper. I think at the back, there is the the energy rating that the EU now makes compulsory with all iPhones. But apart from that, usual packaging. Let's put that to the side and get into the actual device. Now, putting the box to the sides, we have the labels for the action button, volume up and down, power button, and obviously camera control. I was about to pronounce that wrong, but camera control, the button that's not a button. I didn't like this with the 16, and I don't think I'll like it with the 17, but obviously Apple isn't going to get rid of it immediately. They'll at least have it for a few generations, and then maybe they'll consider removing it. And on the back, we have the 14 megapixel dual cameras. Pretty awesome to see 14 megapixels with the ultra wide. That was an unexpected upgrade. And yeah, pretty simple. Let's do the peel. Nice peel. Okay, that feels really nice. Wow, I love this size. Okay, I am definitely happy that, I'm back on a smaller iPhone. The Pro Max is nice in terms of battery life, and a part of me wonders how the battery life is going to be for me as a power user. By the way, apologies for the aeroplane again. I am a power user. I use my Pro Max to the max, and especially with my 14 Pro Max that has pretty bad battery health now, the battery life just isn't cutting it. Now on Apple's page, this has better endurance than my 14 Pro Max, 1 hour more I believe. And so if that is the case, and I do get battery life that's about as good as the 14 Pro Max when I had that at launch, I'm going to be pretty chuffed because I do prefer the smaller size. Anyway, let's power this on. There's some... Let's just blow that off. There's some dust. But anyway, let's power this on. By the way, first time seeing very thin bezels on the iPhone. I'm looking forward to that because I never got to check out the 16 Pro last year. So let's see how thin the bezels are here. Also, this black, yeah. I actually dig this black a lot because I'm not a fan of just matte black. I mean, matte black is nice. I won't deny it. But I like this steel grey. I'm going to call it steel grey because that's what the rumors said, and it does feel like steel grey. Anyway, hello! Wow, those bezels are thin, but honestly, they don't make a huge difference. I won't lie. I mean, they are just thinner bezels at the end of the day. But anyway, swiping up. Oh, 120 hertz. Immediately can feel it. Now, hopefully, because my iPhone is recording this footage, hopefully the pop-up doesn't come up on that. I'm just going to set this up as a fresh device and just play around with it for you guys to do some brief testing. Set up on another device, put my password in. Oh, actually, I just realized I've got to put my huge password in because it's like, you know, random gibberish. So let me set this phone up off camera and then we'll do the hands-on. Right, so it's now been a few hours since I got the iPhone 17. As you can see, it's 7:41 the next day, so I've had this for a few hours. I put my SIM in it, I've set everything up, it's my main device now, and I'm ready to give you guys my early impressions. And well, this phone isn't very exciting. Don't get me wrong, it feels very familiar compared to the iPhone 16 and even my 14 Pro Max in many ways, but for those coming from older iPhones or just want a new iPhone, this gives you a very reliable experience, especially for the price. $799, let me remind you that. This feels like a Pro iPhone for $799. That's incredible. Now the first thing that stood out to me is the display. This display is identical to the 17 Pro. It's 6.3 inches, 3000 nits, 120Hz, and it's a treat to use. The anti-reflective coating is also quite nice, as you can see. Display is a bit smudgy. The anti-reflective coating isn't as apparent as it is on the S25 Ultra, but it does a pretty good job. However, the main thing for me is ProMotion and the 3000 nits of brightness. That's really what makes a big difference. The cameras, those are the next big feature, particularly the front-facing camera. We have the new ultra-wide, well, square sensor, so now you can actually fit people in the shot and it will zoom out. It works amazingly well and it's going to be a game changer. The rear cameras are pretty excellent as well. They're not special like the front-facing camera, but they do the job. The main sensor is incredible. The ultra-wide is new this year. It's a 40 megapixel ultra-wide, but I haven't noticed a huge difference compared to the older ultra-wides. Macros are sharper, but that's really the only difference. Ultimately though, the camera experience is pretty great. Yes, you don't get as much zoom as the Pros offer, but ultimately the 2x crop is good enough for me. The next change I really appreciated was actually the battery life, because I'm coming from a 14 Pro Max with 76% battery health, and so in this early testing, as I'll show you right now, let me go to battery. So 2 hours of screen on time, 80% battery life left. That's incredible, and obviously I have turned on adaptive power mode, so it will learn my usage and get even better possibly. So yeah, I'm outstanding by the battery life. Again, this is not the Pro Max size, this is the regular 17, so it's incredible how good the battery life is. The next thing I like is the action button. Again, it's new to me because I'm coming from a 14 Pro Max, but just being able to, you know, there you go, turn on, do not disturb and turn it off, that's quite nice. Although I will say, I wish I could double tap the action button to set action or triple tap it. You know, it should have multiple use cases. The camera button, thankfully, isn't getting accidentally triggered as it was on the 16 because I've disabled light press. Actually, light press is disabled by default. So yeah, you're not likely to accidentally press it. USB Type-C on the bottom, that's new to me as well, but that's appreciated. By the way, the speaker is actually still on the right side. It's moved to the left side with the 17 Pros, but it's still on the right side, and the speakers sound pretty great. I might leave a sample for you guys. But yeah, the speakers are great. I've had a great multimedia experience. I've watched some YouTube videos. Apologies for the aeroplane. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm trying to just go over initial thoughts right now, but there's not much for me to complain about. This does everything really well. I like this form factor as well. I'm coming from a Pro Max, so the form factor definitely is quite nice. Anyway, I will be sharing my proper verdicts very soon, but in the meantime, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and I'll see you in the next one.